number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV on a Libations Friday. First Libations Friday of 2025. All right.
Yeah.
What's going to be the beverage of choice, everybody? What you having tonight? Or are you rode hard and put up wet? Has it been a rough 2 weeks? It's been a rough 2 weeks, I think, for a lot of people. This has been a micro version of the heavy season, these 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. We've got to ban holidays in the middle of the week. Nobody gets anything done. You never know what day it is. You're stumbling around in the dark after a while. Is it Thursday? What's happening?
I do want to congratulate us. I think we've done more shows than I expected to do over this period of time, and I'm proud. I'm proud of this effort. This is good stuff, good productivity, and the numbers are good. So there's a lot of people that are happy that we're doing what we're doing, because there's also the thing that nobody wants to admit. Without the gig every day, you start looking at the walls and going, man, what am I supposed to do now? It's almost like a very, very small version of being at home during COVID. You know, you're starting to look at those projects, and enough days go by and you say, I kind of have no excuse. I have to work on this thing on the house that I said I was going to do.
Well, the other part of that, and to your point, there's holidays get to be a bit much, because if you don't do anything for 2 weeks, and that all sounds good in theory as you approach it, but when you have the actual 2 week stretch in which you don't do anything, if you don't do anything, let's be honest, you get bored. You lose your sense of purpose. People like schedules. People like to know there's some consistency about their days. Now, if you hate your job, you're screaming at the radio or the TV right now going, nope, you're wrong about that, Jeff. I hate going to work. But I don't, see? I don't. And I feel for you and those of you who do. I love my job. So if I don't do my job for like a week straight, about that 8th day, I'm kind of getting antsy. I'm like, I'd like to weigh in on this. I'd like to talk a little bit about what we saw in the playoff, what's going to happen in the NFL playoffs, what happened with this situation in free agency, whatever it might be. I kind of want to get involved and have that discussion. And I like having the back and forth. So at the end of last hour, for example, we were talking about, and I thought about this yesterday, watching Notre Dame and Georgia. How will it work? How will it look for Florida State when we make the playoff this upcoming year? How exciting is that going to be, Tom, when we make the playoff this year and we become the talking point that Arizona State was, which is, how about Florida State? Now, that will bother you because it's a little belittling. It'll bother you because you're going to say, why were we in that position? We're not Arizona State. They've not mattered since Jake the Snake. Why are we in that same circumstance? We ought never to be in that set of circumstances. And that is something, by the way, in the new year, solving for the future on the heels of that last hour with ISF, that I would like to remedy as we move on. Now, I don't know how close we are to remedying this. The landscape has completely changed. And I'm not so sure, and I'll say this publicly, I'm not so sure I trust everybody in power over there right now to make sure this becomes a more smoothly navigated road. I'm not sure. I got this, what I'm doing right now. I had 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you over at Florida State. I do. This isn't any one person specific per se, but I do have a whole lot of, I'm looking at you. And I'm not so sure. I like what I'm seeing. Just to let you know out there, that's where we sit over here in Jeff Cameron land. There's a little bit of, do you guys know what you're doing? Okay. Yeah. All right. Just saying, I'm not talking about Florida State football. I'm just the whole operation.
Yeah, I don't believe in Link Jarrett either. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
It's a shaky customer.
That's the only thing you know right now. Him and Trey Jones, that's what you know. And the softball program. That's what you know.
And the soccer program.
Yeah, they choked.
Oh.
They choked against Vanderbilt. That was pathetic.
You get your own screen.
That's right. I'm keeping that screen. That was a choke job. That sorry goal at the end was one of the sorriest things I've ever seen. Right to me. I'm going to throw it in the net. I'm still pissed about that. We watched it together. That was ridiculous. But I'm calling it out for what it was. It's a choke job. Now, that said, yes, they've been very good. Let's not choke again, because then it becomes a trend. But as far as softball, golf, baseball, all right, we're in good shape. Everybody else, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I should have put that on the list as we were closing out 2024, and good riddance to you, scummy year for Florida State sports. We do host a regional in golf this year. I am looking forward to seeing Legacy host a regional for men's golf this season. That's going to be some good fun. Future pros playing at Florida State in about 4 months' time.
I just talked to Trey Jones over the holiday, and good old Trey, my man. Once again with an elite program. Yeah, no, that will be really good. And I know how proud he'll be. I know how very proud he'll be because that course is pretty amazing and really difficult. And he wanted it that way. So people will get to see it. You'll see its teeth because they'll lengthen it for that thing. And then it just gets to be like, woo, if you aren't averaging 68, don't come out here and swing the clubs.
Man, I'm telling you, just to have a laugh, we should bring the video out with us and play. Let's see. So it wraps up on Wednesday, May 14th. We should take the day on
May
Thursday,
15th?
on May 15th, and go play Legacy and tape it just so we can have a good laugh.
From where they play it?
Oh, hell no. I mean, like, we could try.
I'm going to say, because where he's going to have them playing it from is very different.
We could try and maybe play a scramble. Maybe we play a scramble from there and try and shoot 80.
Yeah, okay. I like that idea. You and I play a scramble to see if we can break 80 from where they play.
I don't think we will. 85 might be the number we'd have to set.
From where they're going to play it, buddy, that is, woo. There's some numbers out there. There's some holes that just aren't reachable.
I'm going to need that Cameron driver to help us. Yeah.
Man alive. So I'm just starting out the year, letting you know, 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back over there to the administration. I don't know. Looking at you. I'm watching very closely. That said, we talk about hosting a playoff game and getting this turned around and flying high in 2025. The decisions that we'd have to make as fans, I want to be put in that bind. I want to be the guy that's like, all right, at 53 years old, I'm not as apt to hop into a vehicle and drive 1,222 miles to the next location. Because here's the thing. It's not the drive there. It's the drive back.
Yep.
It's never the drive there. You could tell me that I have to drive to Chicago tomorrow. You could tell me I have to drive to freaking Tempe, Arizona tomorrow. I've driven from Tallahassee to Tempe. I know how arduous a task that is. That said, okay, I can wrap my mind around that. If there's a pot of gold on the other end of that drive, if you're telling me that I get to go to Tempe to watch Florida State play Arizona State at a playoff game for the right to move on to the next round and say the Sugar Bowl, which I could catch on my drive back. But all right, I'm in. It's that once the game ends, it washes over you. I can tell you, I remember driving with my buddy Todd Van Dyke in his Ford F-150. 2 dudes in a truck driving all the way from Tallahassee to Tempe. It seemed like the greatest idea in the world. I couldn't believe we were going to get to go do this and have a great time. And I'm glad that we did, because there were a lot of cool experiences along the way. Fort Stockton, Texas not being one of them. But I remember getting all the way out there, and we were loving life, partying at the bars, running into Florida State fans everywhere. Sure, we were going to beat Tennessee. Here we go, even with the Rooster playing quarterback. Okay, we'll make it happen, whatever. Well, we didn't. We didn't beat Tennessee. We did a lot of dumb things in that game. Still only lost by 7 somehow. But the loss happened. And the trek back hit me hard, Tom. I knew that we had to mount up, get in that truck, and drive all the way back through the godforsaken plains of Texas, in which there is nothing. There is nothing. I can't imagine having gone west, young man, and traveling through those areas back in the day. You talk about fear. There's so many things that can kill you out there. It's quiet and desolate. Oh, Lord. Anyhow, so we were doing that, and I ended up doing the lion's share of the driving. And that drive back nearly killed a very young Jeff Cameron. Very young. The 53-year-old Jeff Cameron, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it. Well, first of all, I wouldn't do it. I'd fly. But secondly, if this was going to be a thing where you get on a roll and you win a bunch of games, at some point, man, good God, you're right. That's going to cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Especially if you're on that Cinderella run. That's the thing, because that would be the time that you would most certainly spend it if you didn't have it. I think if you're one of these programs like Ohio State, even to a degree, Notre Dame, even though they haven't proven anything, they haven't won anything since 1988, you could pick your spots. You know that you are a thing. But if you're Arizona State, you're SMU, you're the next version of whoever that is. Let's say Syracuse made the playoff this year.
Well, you better jump on that train, buddy.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Absolutely you are. And you might say that they might have been more qualified than Miami to make the playoff this year with Syracuse. So if you're one of those programs, you are going to, mortgage the farm, everything you've got to go on this run for as long as it goes. And I think what you're going to start hearing about, and this is if I was an RV company, I would sponsor this, is the Trek. And as long as it goes, our brand RV, you get to go drive across the country, make a bunch of stops, be an influencer, take some videos at these bars that you speak of, at these nondescript towns.
All right, so stop. Time out. I'm calling time. You're on to it, Tom, and I want to put us out there right now. The Jeff Cameron Show would be more than happy to jump into that luxurious, fully loaded RV that you are going to provide for us. Whoever it is that's listening, owner of RV company, I will do that for you. I will get in that luxurious 2 beds, 2 baths, full kitchen, loaded, stocked fridge, PS5, big screen television RV, and I will drive that sucker like a champion across this great country with your logo plastered everywhere. In many videos, as the influencers that we are, showcasing the lap of luxury that we are provided by this fine sponsor as we make our way to the playoff game. And I will do it after we win that game, and I will drive to the next location because I'm willing to do that for you. I'm willing to take this luxurious vehicle, stocked as it may be, and drive it all over this great land, showcasing the hills and the plains and the fine people, the citizens of that fair town. We will interview them. We will have moments inside the game. We will have the interviews afterwards, and we will load up yet again in what is a fully loaded, complete lap of luxury RV and make our way to wherever it is we play next, Tom. I'm willing, and I'm putting it out there right now. I'm letting everybody know that's who we are. That's the kind of fun and games the Jeff Cameron Show will have with you, next great sponsor of Luxurious RV. That's what we'll do. Okay, go ahead.
No, you're solving for your future. If we make the run and let's say we play on somebody else's campus next year because we're one of the at-large teams, can't leave us out this time, can you? We were 11-1. I know it's very close between us and 8-4 Ole Miss, but we did beat Alabama, so you have to let us in. You get close to the point where you can utter the magical 2 words from Christmas Vacation, where if you've been in that RV for long enough and you know what I'm talking in the morning, hey, Tom, no, use the bathroom. It's full. We need to unload here.
Well, I think the kind of RV that we're in, we do not encounter these problems with the Griswolds and the Clarks. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to be in a fully loaded, fully stocked lap of luxury, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, big screen television type of vehicle.
You know what you would call it? The revenge tour. It sells itself. We're done.
Well, I sign us up. I know there's somebody listening who has those kinds of vehicles. Now, listen, I will also offer up, and some people wouldn't do this, but I would do it. And I think I could convince Tom to do it. If the RV company decides it's just too much to give away our top of the line vehicle to these 2 gentlemen, I don't know that these guys have the kind of experience necessary to take our $700,000 RV across the country. And this is the kind of thing usually reserved for massive tours and superstars. Jeff is a star. Tom is a star, but maybe not to the magnitude that we're willing to give our multi-million-dollar RV to. We'll see. I don't know. Not everybody, they have to figure that out. But maybe what's more doable for next year's playoff run that Florida State's going to go on with this influx of transfers is NetJets flies us to all of these games. And I'm, not everybody will get in one of those private jets, but I will. I will get into a private jet with cocktails aboard and full service, a bed. I will do it. I will fly wherever you need me to if you need me to do it.
Yeah, I'll run the risk of, a smooth flight or Big Bopper. Whatever. We'll see. Give it a run.
Yeah.
Give it a run.
Take our chances that we are not going to end up as Stevie Ray Vaughan, but rather make our destination and enjoy that football game and tell people about the NetJets. Tell people that the days of Buddy Hauling falling into a farm in the middle of nowhere are long past. Long past. We'll be fine. Hey, listen, ain't no Randy Rhodes up in here. We're going to make it. We're going to make it just fine. We're going to be okay. All right? There you go.
As long as we don't fly into John Denver Airport, I think we're going to be okay.
No Leonard Skinner up in this. We're going to land no problem. We're going to be good. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room!
Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
I shouldn't go through so much effort on Fridays, especially during the holiday season when we record, to make sure that I have my mom on, because every time I do, she wins the week. So I'm just going to conveniently forget to have her on moving forward if it happens again this weekend. But alas, I couldn't do that. So without further ado, Mama is here, and we will make our picks like we are wont to do, and we're going to do so now. I got to add her to the stage. There we go, Mom, just like that. The magic of technology. How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Mama. And I think you had a pretty good, subdued New Year.
I did. We were home. We had lobster from your brother. He sent us lobster, and we had that and champagne. And every time we have that when we're home for New Year's, Christy, your wife, years ago, before you guys were ever married, gave me 2 champagne flutes that look like they're like confetti.
So you still use them all these years later, which is awesome.
Every time I get them out, I think of her. So anyway, we had those, and we had lobster. It was really good, and we were home, and yes. And so it was a very quiet look. I had to wake Bob up.
Oh, he had been asleep for hours by the time midnight got around.
Yes, he had. But anyway, woke him up. We had a Happy New Year, and so that's what it was. It was good.
Well, you were good again last week in the coin flip games. You took 2 of 3. You're up a robust 9. I think that the fading light of hope that I had is now, it is flickering in the wind. It is barely hanging on. I'm going to need to pull upsets across the board here.
I'm really proud of myself.
You should be. You should be.
I know it. I really am, because you are the professional. So I'm just trying to do my best every week, and I try not to outthink myself, and I don't look up statistics and everything, and so I am proud of myself.
I had a good long run, and then I got cocky, and now 2 years in a row, I'm paying a dear price.
You still know way more than me, that's for sure.
Well, I think this shows you why the league is so popular, Mom, because even if you know a lot, if it were that simple, we would all move out to Las Vegas and get rich picking the games correctly.
Yeah, true.
But it's not that simple in the league.
Evidently not, because a simpleton like me can pick them.
Well, I don't know. I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying, like, the extremes of what can happen from one year to the next. It's nuts.
It is nuts. It is absolutely nuts. I know it. I'm surprised. And but anyway, and this week is very difficult.
Well, this is a difficult. It's like picking preseason games to some extent.
It is. I said that. I argued with myself the whole time, and then I said, you know what? Just pick the games like you would pick them every week, and just let the chips fall where they may.
All right, so that may be the lone hope that I have, I suppose. Here we go. Let's start with the games that are on Saturday. Cleveland at Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm picking Baltimore.
Me too. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, our first tough one. Here you go.
That is a tough one, but I think I'm going to pick Cincinnati because I think they still have a chance, right, to get to the playoffs if they win this game.
Well, they need a bunch of things to happen. They have to win the game, and then some other things have to happen. So yes, I'm with you. I'm taking Cincinnati as well.
Okay.
Carolina at Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I'm picking Atlanta because they have to win too. So
Yes, they do.
I don't want them to win. I would love it if they would lose. But anyway, I'm picking them.
Washington at Dallas.
I'm picking Washington.
Chicago at Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm picking Green Bay.
Me too. Those are some of the easier ones that we have on the list here. Let's go Houston at Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going Houston.
I'm taking Tennessee.
Are you? All right, now let me find that so I can put that down here on my sheet.
Put it on your sheet, Mama. I'm taking Tennessee over Houston.
Okay. All right, I got it.
Jacksonville at Indianapolis.
I know. Those stupid Indianapolis people. And I don't know. Jacksonville, I took Indy. I'm taking them.
I'm taking them as well. Buffalo at New England.
I'm taking Buffalo. I think they could play, I don't know, the JV. I don't think New England has a chance. So anyway, I'm taking Buffalo.
Did we do the Giants at Philadelphia? We did, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Oh, Giants at Philadelphia.
I'm taking Philly.
Saints at the Bucks.
Bucks.
Kansas City at Denver.
Now that is a hard game. And I don't know who's Kansas City is playing or not, but I wanted to pick Denver, but I'm not. I'm picking Kansas City.
I'll take Denver.
I knew you would. I think that's probably not a bad pick. Where are they? Here we go. Okay. All right.
Chargers at Las Vegas Raiders.
Chargers.
Yeah, we agree on that one. Seattle at the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah. Now that's a kind of a hard one too. But I'm taking the Rams.
I'll take Seattle.
Okay. I know. I knew you. I thought you probably would. See, these are those hard games that you.
Well, Mama, listen, I'm not saying it like I'm gonna get it right. I'm taking chances on some people that might have a few guys playing.
They might have a chance. They might.
All right, so we got that. We've got the Dolphins are at the Jets.
Yeah, Dolphins.
Yes. San Francisco is at Arizona.
Yeah, now that's kind of a hard one too, but I took Arizona.
Me too.
Does Arizona still have a chance?
Not really, but they have, I guess, an outside shot. I took them as well. They have to have some things happen.
And everybody else loses or something.
Yeah, they have to have some things happen.
Okay.
Minnesota at Detroit in the
that
game.
Is the game of the game. I do not know what to do with that game because I love Minnesota and they have been good to me all year.
Well, they're both teams are
Detroit, and they're both aren't they both 14-2 or something?
They're both 14-2, correct?
Yeah. This is probably going to come back to haunt me, but I took Detroit.
No, I'm taking Detroit as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I really think Minnesota can win that game.
Oh, they absolutely could.
Yeah, but I just couldn't pick against Detroit at Detroit, and that coach, he gets them so fired up. Bless his heart. What is his name? That coach? Do we know?
Yes. Why did you just ask me Detroit's head coach?
Sorry. But anyway, whatever his name is, I really like him. He's like me. He would be like I would be in there
by the way, his name's Dan Campbell. I was actually typing it in, and then I was like, I know Dan Campbell. Why am I typing this in?
There you go. Good. Yeah, I love him. I really do. And so that's one of the reasons I really like Detroit. But
the thing about Dan Campbell is he's huge.
Yeah, he can probably play right now.
He looks like he could play right now, and he did play, in the NFL. He was a tight end. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, no, I really like him. I really, really do. And I'll be happy if Minnesota wins, but I picked Detroit because.
All right, so we have three different.
Yeah, we have the Tennessee-Houston game different, the Denver-Kansas City game, and Seattle-Rams game different.
So hopefully at the end of this weekend, it goes from 9 to 6, and I've got fleeting hope That is my hope.
I know it, and I'm telling you, and I'm watching this Georgia game right now. That's a crazy thing going on now too. But anyway, I'm rooting for Notre Dame.
Well, rooting is a strong word. I don't think I'm rooting
Well,
for
I know,
either.
but I would rather them win than Georgia. That's what I will say.
I'll say the same. All right, Mama, I love you. Have a great weekend.
I love you too. Have a great weekend. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good, Mom. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. There's Mama, a huge lead of 9 games. And I should have, just for good measure, taken all the borderline games the other way, but that wouldn't be fair. That's not the way we do it. We do it so that it's even when it's recorded like this, it's live, because I did not make the picks before she made. I could have cheated. Not going to do it. Yeah. So there it is. Those are the 3 that are different. Mom up 9 going into the weekend. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We weren't getting out of here on a Libations Friday without knocking out a red zone. Got to do it. Got to do it. And you know this as well as I do, everybody, especially if you're a certain age. But look, you got to be prepared for success. The retirement red zone is what this segment is all about, because the 5 years leading up to your retirement date and the immediate 5 years after are very critical times. This is where you have to have thoughtful planning for you and your family, and you need experts. I would invite you to go to NoleRetirement.com. NoleRetirement.com. My man, Adam Tolliver, and his folks at Artisan Financial Strategies, 30-plus years of experience doing this. They'll get you there. They'll guide you through those choppy waters and make sure you don't run out of money, that you're prepared for rising healthcare costs for you and your family, all that good stuff. It is it's a group that I believe in, a group that I trust, and he's a guy that I know works extremely hard, is expert in his field. Go to NoleRetirement.com to learn a little bit more. NoleRetirement.com. Cue it up, Tommy.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
Boom, 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 boom. I always like the way that ends. You saw Jimbo get booed by Texas fans?
Oh, did he really? No,
Yeah.
I did not see that.
He flashed the hook 'em horns to him.
He flashed the what now?
He gave him the hook 'em horns. Yeah. It was pretty it was funny. Anyhow, yeah, he was there. Let's go. Let's do this. First down in the red zone. What we got, baby?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it up over the course of 2 weeks. And instead of first downs, this is about Florida State's home and away opponents in 2025.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As we sit here today, this is not W's and L's. I just want your degree of difficulty or relative confidence. You can choose, define your own term, 1 to 10 scale about the fact that Florida State can win the football game as we sit here today. All right. So would you rather degree of difficulty, the pessimistic side, or degree of optimism, the optimist side? Which one would you want to choose?
So winnability scale, is that 1 to 10 with like a 6 being more winnable than losable? Like,
yes. We'll go with that winnability scale. 1 as in yikes to 10 extremely winnable football game.
Yeah, okay. I can do that. I think that's kind of fun to do. All right, let's go. I got you.
So this is the home games this week for the Red Zone. Starts, obviously, we all know very well. Alabama, August the 30th. What say you on the winnability scale? 1, no way. 10, yeah, it's going to happen.
Saturday, August the 30th, Doak Campbell Stadium, newly renovated. The nation tunes in to Florida State, Alabama. The revamped Florida State roster. Sorry, I was thinking of Notre Dame's roster having been revamped. Now replete with 47 new players, takes the field. What will we see? New OC, new DC, new schemes abound, optimism in the air. That's a 4.
That's higher than I thought you would go.
It's a 4.
Okay. That's fairly reasonable on the winnability scale.
Could happen. Could happen.
Okay. Yeah, right. It could happen. And I think a month ago you would have put it where? A 2?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I mean, we weren't physical. We couldn't block anybody, so I would have had it almost at a 0. I mean, it's not like Alabama's not going to have good players on the defensive line.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like we can't block Wake. How are we going to block Alabama? We can't block anybody. So, yeah, I think we already have 4 new offensive linemen. I don't think we're stopping there. Yeah, I'll give us a 4.
Okay. Well, I'm buoyed going into the next one. You're going to give it a 10. It's East Texas A&M Lions or Texas A&M Commerce, whatever it is, to 10.
That's a 10, yes.
Yep.
If you lose that game, I'm going to stop watching Florida State football forever.
Okay. Kent State on the 20th of September.
Kent State, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a 10. So God forbid you somehow shock the world and beat Alabama. You're 3-0 if you beat Alabama.
Yes, you might slot a conference game on the 13th of September. We don't know that for sure yet. But if you did, it's a nice spot to grab them. A conference game sandwich between East Texas A&M and Kent State. That's nice. Yeah. It's a nice
okay.
middle ground.
All right. So that's a 10. All right. So let's just say right now, based on the winnability scale, I've got us at 2 wins already. We've equaled the total wins from this past season.
Outstanding. Here's another home game. It's against the Dave Clausen-less Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
That's 7.
7. Strong.
Yeah, screw Wake. Beat that ass. They were terrible this year.
Trending towards the 3rd win. Mm-hmm. Virginia Tech.
That game's here?
Here.
It's 5.
Ooh. All right. Just barely more winnable than the Alabama game. All right. I see you.
Yeah. We're not very good. I don't know what we're going to be yet. We'll see.
All right. The Pitt Panthers come to town.
Boy, that was a sorry way to end the season for Pitt. They spiraled. Speaking of plane crashes, Pitt was going into the side of a mountain. That's a 6. That's a 6.
Okay. So we got a 4 for Alabama, a 5 for Virginia Tech, and a 6 for Pitt. And then you complete the straight with a 7 for Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
The last home game of the season, and again, we don't have the schedule order yet for
all. It's Miami.
It is Miami.
Yeah, that's going to be a 5.
A 5.
That's a 5. It's a 5. Listen, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback just now. They don't have him on the roster. If they try to start that kid, that's a 6 for us if they do. But yeah, that's a 5.
Okay, so we're setting the home over under for wins, home total 7 games at 4.5. Is that fair, or is it 3.5?
Yeah, 4.5 is a good one. I think, you should win. Yeah, come on, man. You can win 4 of your 7 home games. Yes.
You can. We certainly didn't this year.
No, we did not. No, we did not. It's kind of fun and games 2025 is going to give us. It'll be all right.
Yep.
Now let's go with the roadies.
Okay, final red zone question. That was a shorty. Next week we'll do the road opponents. Position that you're most excited to hear about acquisitions from this point forward. Because Florida State already does have 4 offensive linemen, and that's already in the fold. They do have an edge rusher. You can kind of count Darrell Jackson as another defensive end. Deontay McCray is another 6'6", 280-pound edge rusher they got out of Western Kentucky. Is it linebacker? Is it Florida State is going after receivers? I mean, it is not just Squirrel White. There's also the kid from West Virginia that they're interested in. What position do you want?
Well, they brought in Deuce. So, look, they needed receivers. They didn't have any good ones this past year. By the way, you see Malik McLean with a long touchdown for Arizona State?
Oh, he scored one of the touchdowns while I was sleeping? Damn it.
Yeah, well, he scored on a bomb, and it was thrown by Scadaboo.
He was the recipient of that pass? Okay, that's cool. Good for him.
Scadaboo to Malik McLean. He also had another long catch in that game. I was like, great. And there's Malik McLean, who I always liked.
I did too. He looked like he was blossoming. That was the Florida game where he and Jordan looked to have a bit of a synergy developing there.
Yeah, and it didn't work out for him at Penn State, I think, namely due to injury, but then he transferred because Dillingham certainly remembered him.
Yeah.
And got him into the program at Arizona State, and he's done just fine. So, I mean, it's a little frustrating every now and again when you see something like that. Like, kind of probably needed to hold on to that kid. Instead, we kept the other kid that was a similar body type, and, that didn't work. We're getting cryptic messages. Find out Find out what it means. I'd like to know. All right. What was the second part of this?
The second part of it was, oh boy, you're going to stump me now. No, but just the position that you're looking for.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I too was on that group text. We're like, whoop, is there breaking news? What's going on here?
Yeah, I would say defensive tackle, Tom.
Really? In a 3-3-5? You still want more D tackles?
I want as many big men as possible in the trenches to rotate and have the opportunity to. I mean, when you watch these playoffs, man, look how many guys Texas rolls out there, how many guys Georgia has, how many guys that Notre Dame has. I mean, Notre Dame was missing their interior defensive tackle, the starter that was a really good player, and his backup played quite well and handled himself well against Georgia. Man, you need those horses. You got to have big dudes that can really play at a high level. I'm not talking about guys that just spell other people and you don't lose the game because they're out there. I'm talking about guys that can make plays.
Yep.
And we just don't have enough guys that make plays there that can dominate the line of scrimmage. So I'd stockpile. I'm going to continue to be a broken record about this. I'd stockpile defensive and offensive linemen as many as I could get.
For me, I think it would be the hybrid sideline to sideline type linebackers. You need guys who can run, who can cover, and who can swarm, because that's what this defense ideally is going to be about. It's hard to know how much of Tony White's defense is actually going to be run next year because of the personnel issues. You're in transition. But if you can find two more, and it might be that the North Carolina kid's one of them. It might be that they want to close with the Georgia Southern kid who's been
from North Carolina, going to be
North Carolina, yes.
Yeah.
Watson Trent, I think it is, or Trent Watson, is the linebacker from Georgia Southern, who is incredibly productive. But you need more of those types of players because this defense is built on that. Yeah. I feel like the second level is the key to making the defense run like it's supposed to run. Of course, we understand the importance of the trenches, but I'm just saying for it to flourish, I think that second level of those in-between type body types of linebacker and strong safety. Give me a couple more of those.
I got to look this up. So is the player you're talking about Marquise Watson Trent?
Watson Trent, yeah.
Yeah. So Marquise is his first name, by the way. Or Marquez. I would just tell you about him, by the way. When you said Watson Trent, I started thinking, if his name is Watson Trent and not Trent Watson, although either works, that is a good linebacker name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you would think I would know it because I just did a show at 8:00 last night with Michael about which was on which.
And that was a hell of a thing for you to do right after the football game to decide, hey, I'm going to miss the beginning of Duke Ole Miss for this.
Of course. Yeah. What a sacrifice. We originally were supposed to go at 7. That's what we promoted yesterday, but Michael was out at campus a little bit later. So that was why with the visit.
He was checking on whether or not Watson Trent was going to be rolling on in here, buddy.
Watson Trent left yesterday. I think he's going to take some more visits. It does seem like, at least from Michael's intel, that for that specific player, it's if you want to push hard, you'll get him. But we'll see, because you have to make a lot of decisions under, what NILs you want to spend for this position or that position. And if you land Lavallee from North Carolina, do you really want to spend on what it would take to go get Watson Trent? We'll see what they choose to do with these dollars. That's why, to me, some of these receivers, or even the running back kid, Rasul, and now his last name's escaping me, but from Utah State, extremely productive player, over 300 carries last 2 years. I'm sorry?
Isn't that Faison?
Faison, yeah. Rasul Faison. 1,800 yards last 2 seasons, 300 carries last 2 seasons. I find that interesting that they're looking to bring in a bell cow.
I don't know why. Save your money and go get another lineman, please.
That tells me that the in-house evals are, I like Chroma. And
I don't think they love the room. I don't think they love the room.
Clearly, that's what that message sends to me, because these guys didn't leave. The window's closed. You can't leave right now. It has to be outside of spring. And you still want to bring in somebody who is a one-year player who has that much experience. Fascinating. That's got to be on the self-scout side from Gus and Herb Hand and everybody that's come in.
Well, I can tell you that's exactly what they're doing with the wide receiver position, right? I mean, they looked at that group and went, yeah, not very good. Not very good. I mean, you can certainly argue Florida State had the worst receiving core in the ACC,
Yeah.
And well, I don't think it's close. I think they did.
No, they did, but you would think that they don't have time. This is the hard place that you're in. So you would want to see Danzy get more run, or Cam Davis have a chance next year, Singleton, or
I don't know if I care if Cam Davis gets a lot of run next year.
It sounds like that's what they're saying, or Lane McCoy, or Gibson, or Elijah
Moore,
or Hakeem Williams. They're telling you.
Oh,
if they want to bring in 2 or 3 receivers, they're saying, we might like 1 or 2 of these kids, but we don't like them all.
I think they'll like Elijah Moore a lot, and I think they'll like Hakeem. After that, I think they're kind of like.
You bring in Deuce, and if you go get the West Virginia kid who's 6'3", I mean, at some point, what are you saying about to Hakeem?
Well, you're saying you haven't been productive in any way, shape, or form. Now, I would not put that on Hakeem. We just got rid of the receivers coach for a reason.
Yeah.
And we made some changes to his staff for a reason. So I mean, I think there's some kids that there's a little wait and see in there on some of these kids because of their physical tools, where you're like, Also, he's been unlucky. I mean, 2 years here has been saddled by significant lower body injury.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't. It's one thing to have a shoulder, or or a pec injury or something like that, or a back or something as a receiver. But man, my man had a really bad ankle and a really bad hammy.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, though. In Gus's offense, it's not like you're going to be throwing the ball 30 times a game. So if I'm Hakeem and I see that Deuce Robinson comes in and you're bringing another receiver or 2, or if I'm, McCoy, or if I'm Gibson or Moore, I mean, it's not like this offense goes 5 wide. So it's an interesting choice that you're making here, because you're running the risk, and I get it. You don't have time. You've got to win now, but you're running the risk that in spring, you might be running off some high-profile kids that might turn out to actually be something by the time spring camp is over.
Yeah, I'm worried long-term about the acquisition of wide receivers. I think that you're making decisions that could impact the level or the caliber of wide receiver you're able to bring in. And there's a yin and the yang to all this, right? The give and the take to what you're running, the system you're running, and who that attracts and who it doesn't. You ought to be able to get elite running backs. You ought to be able to get good offensive linemen. You ought to be able to get good tight ends. Don't know how kind of, elite twitchy wide receivers you're going to bring in. I mean, we'll see.
My hope is, because Gus tends to throw a lot of snaps at the top of the 2 deep. So if you're on that top line, you're getting the lion's share of snaps. I just hope we're not setting up here for you bring in a kid like Squirrel White. You bring in the kid from West Virginia. Jalen Lucas gets healthy, and you want to use him in the slot at certain times. And Mekhi Danzy, you want to use him in the slot. Let's just not allow for the over-rotation of kids. One of the things that I like about Gus in theory being here is you pick your dudes and you roll with your dudes. And that's gonna lead to some uncomfortable transfer portal conversations about kids that leave. But I hope that we're not setting this up to be a situation where you have these wholesale line changes at skill positions. Please let that not be a part of 2025's offense.
I would think that, this is a conversation you're going to have. And it's going to be fascinating to see what kind of wrinkles he has in this offense, because I think he has modernized some aspects of it. NoleRetirement.com. Our thanks to Artisan Financial Services, always at the Red Zone segment. And we've got a final hour forthcoming. That'll be a best of. Enjoy. We'll be back with you on Monday.